Here gonna make a little instructional video on how to make your own collapsible tip up for ice fishing. What I got here is some stuff from a hardware store. Probably cost about 25-30 bucks. And some scrap plywood and some scrap pieces of wood and stuff like that. So what I got here is just some marker flags, ones that will bend and come back up. 3/8 drill bit, if you don't have one. We got some 3/8 bolts here. We got a 6-inch long bolt and about 3.5-inch bolt. We got some washers to fit the bolts. Got a wing nut here for the end of the bolt. As you can see, it's attached up here. And we got a door stop, springy door stop. Some 2.5-inch, 3-inch deck screws. Got some open-faced small hooks here. As you can see, they're attached to the doweling here. We got some doweling that's 3/8. Some 1x1. And our plywood. Got a sheet of plywood, and it's the good, strong, actual pieces of board glued together, not the little chunks of wood chips all glued together, so it's fairly sturdy. Got a drill here and a skill saw, and I think that's about all you'll need from the hardware store. Maybe a few nuts to fit on your 3/8 bolt. Give it a little bit of a spacer. So yeah, we'll show you how. Alright, so here we're going to just measure out the base quick. Measure twice, cut once. So we got a 2-foot plywood here, so we're going to measure 2.5 feet wide for the base. And then we got our walls that sit in the middle, so we're just going to mark that out here too. So we're just going to use 6-inch or foot-long pieces like we got over on our other one. So we're just going to do about 5 inches wide. So we'll mark about 5.5 here on the board. So what you got here is your drill and your 3/8 drill bit, piece of 1x1. You got your platform here, and the two end pieces the little end piece that we cut for the support in the middle. So what we're going to do is lay those flat together, and about halfway up, just drill a hole. Then you're going to take your 1x1, you're going to set it up roughly right in the middle, but you're going to want to push it down about 1/2 inch off the bottom of your piece of plywood, so that when your collapsible arm's moving down and forth, the bottom's not going to catch on the thing. So kind of clean that out for the 3/8 bolts a bit, so it's not so snug in there. So now what you're going to want to do is find center. You got center. So then we're going to take our piece of 1x1. So you want to put your 1x1 down. And then you want to put your two support bases right here. And then you're going to take the deck screw. You just kind of want to have that in there for support so you know that you're not moving anywhere and it's going to be right in the same spot. So you're going to take the deck screw. So on an angle you're going to want to hold that there. Just do another one over here.
Good and solid.
And then you're going to want to flip it around. So it's flipped around. Put that through there. So you're doing the same thing with the other side. And you're going to want to take your 6-inch bolt.
Perfect, nice and snug in there.
So we got that. So we got our support down. Our support arm for our tip up is an inch or so off the bottom, so we got lots of leeway for doing that. Got the wing nut here and a washer. Just gonna throw that over there.
Throw one more screw in here and make sure it's good and secure.
Yeah, so this is pretty secure here now as it is. Like that shouldn't go anywhere, but if it does loosen up when you're out on the water or the hard water and it's getting loosened up, we like to put a little screw right through here at the top.
3.5 inch.
3.5 inch right here.
Right tight to the back so it doesn't.
So if it's gonna fall, it's gonna have some support here, and then that also gives these a little bit more support too.
Can't fall back at all now.
So to make it a little bit more nicer to put away and store and stuff, and you only need it to be this high too. We just take this down like you're gonna have it stored, mark it, cut her off. So now because we need a little bit of an angle for our dowling to sit for the weight of the dowling on the spring, we need to cut a little bit of a face off on this side. So we want to cut
just like that.
Just like that on there. So this is what we have already. We have our thing shaved off here. This is our collapsible arm. Got our screw in here so it can't go the other way if it ever does loosen up with this thing here when you're on the ice. These are all screwed in here. Got a couple more support screws in the bottom. This collapses, so it's cut off right here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach the dowling to the door stop, the spring. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a smaller drill bit here, 332. I'm just going to do a little pilot hole in the end here. And that's just so the screw that I'm going to put in it next isn't going to split it. So then I take the door stop and one of my deck screws and I put that deck screw down in there. Give her a couple little twists so it's sticking out. And then I take that piece of doweling and just screw it on like that. So now what I do is attach the door stop anchor to the face of the collapsible. Put your door stop in there. She clicks in like that. You take take a marker and mark out the side here. 1 and roughly about 2 there. And that's for the pilot holes for these screws here. So then for those, I'm going to take a smaller drill bit. About 5/64. You can just drill right through the doweling here. You just take the screw on the side that you put it in. And that's just so that you don't split that doweling, and it's a lot easier to get that in there. So now I have my hooks there. Bigger drill bit that I had before. And I'm just going to put a little one in the top here. Take another little one. Just do a little tiny pilot hole right here. Only 1/8 of an inch deep. And then you can also do another one up here if you want. So there. We have the spring all attached. And then once you're done, you can take it off, and this comes down. Store that right underneath there if you want. So this is how you attach the spool. You're going to take this here. You got your 3/8 drill bit. You're just going to lay it down flat. Take the spool that you're going to be using, so you know that it's going to clear. And then you're just going to spot it. And then you can drill that out. So now that you got that drilled out, take your 3.5 inch bolt, 3/8 bolt, shove her through there. What you want to do is take a nut, throw that on there so it's in there snug. Just take a washer. Got your line here. You want your line on there so it comes up and around this side, so it's coming off of the hook, coming off of the spool that way. Take another washer, take your wing nut, put that on there, put this back on here. Take your flags, put one in the hole there, and you can put one in the hole up here too if you want. So now you got everything put together here. You got your flags here, you got one here. You don't really need this one if you don't want to. But you got your wing nut on here to tighten that and loosen that if you want. Washer and a nut in there too. You got your line through your hooks here with the open face on them so that you can take your line off if you need to. You just take this here, take the tip of it, put it in this little hole that you got here, and you got your line down in your hole down here, coming off of this one over here. So here we have your final product. Got your base, Got your line here, wing nut, loosen and tighten your drag or whatever you need. Got your support. Got your arm here that moves, collapses. Got your fish here on the end, takes a bite. There goes your flag, fish on. So now that you got everything together, how to take it apart, you just take these things out, reel your line in, tighten that up on there, put an elastic around your line, hold it safe on there, twist that door stop off, pull this down a little ways, that should fit right underneath there. You can even throw your flags under there if you want. And that comes right down like that, and throw her in your ice fishing sled or your ice hut or whatever you got there, and you're ready to go.